Laura, I can tell you we're standing in front of Lonsdale Square with the corner of Southwest 4th and Salmon. And Laura, we actually have City Commissioner Nick Fish with us. He is the City Commissioner that oversees parks and housing for the city. So, of course, this whole movement is of high interest to you. And just give us your thoughts and your impressions on tonight.
Well, all day long, the parks employees have been out here helping people break down their tents, and we've been removing debris, and our homeless outreach workers have been helping people get to a better place, shelters and motels. I've been incredibly impressed with the whole operation. It's been peaceful. I don't think there have been any arrests today. There's been a spirit of cooperation. It's been somber. I mean, people know that this is coming to an end. But I think to honor this movement, people are really working hard to avoid violence, and I'm very hopeful tonight when the deadline comes that there's no confrontation.
Assuming that police are able to clear folks out of here at that 12:01 deadline,
Sure.
What is the plan to go into the parks and maybe assess some of the damage and assess where do you go from here?
So the first thing we'll do is we'll put up a fence around the park, like we do at Tom McCall Waterfront Park after those festivals. We'll put up a fence and we'll bring our people in and we'll do an assessment. It'll probably take a week or so to get all the other stuff out of the park, do an assessment, and then we'll get to work. And I'll tell you, one of the most encouraging things is we've been flooded by offers from people in Portland to help. People want to come volunteer to help restore the parks, and also they want to contribute. So we're going to do like an old-fashioned barn raising and bring these parks back. But again, today the police have done a great job. The organizers have been in constant communication. It's been peaceful, and I think everyone can be proud of how it's been handled to this point.
As we walk through, it's clear that several tents, many of the tents have been taken down, but several remain, and many appear to be abandoned. What's the plan for the abandoned tents that remain here?
Well, if we think it's people's property, we're going to take it and store it for a while and try to get it back to the owner. Otherwise, it'll probably get either recycled or thrown out. But you're right, a lot of people have already left, and some people have just left their tents behind. We've been spending all day with these dump trucks, picking up stuff and taking it out to the Metro dump. So we'll work with people, and if people need help, we're going to help them.
Can you speak a little bit to the dynamic as a city leader, how the decision came down and how it's played out over the last 5 weeks on allowing these folks to stay here in the downtown park when really
Sure.
Other times they're not allowed to?
Well, the mayor, I think, gets a lot of credit here with the police chief of trying to strike a balance. This is Portland, and so we want to give people the fullest opportunity to express themselves, but these are also parks that belong to everybody. And so we've tried to strike that balance, and I'm very proud that unlike places like Oakland and other cities where there are occupations, there's been violence and scenes, this has been peaceful. And that speaks to an ethic here of both the people, the organizers, and the city. But it became untenable. There were too many health and safety issues that the city just could not handle, and frankly got a little ahead of the organizers. And so this week, the mayor and the police chief announced a deadline. It has the full support of the council. And frankly, a lot of the organizers I've talked to said they thought it was time to move on as well. It was no longer a manageable situation here in the park.
I know you haven't been able to go in and really do an assessment. Are there any thoughts or estimates, preliminary as they may be, on damage?
No, we had a $19,000 estimate a few weeks ago. I'm sure it'll go up. But here's another thing I can tell you. We've had people in the community this past week say, we will write the checks to cover the cost. And so I'm pretty encouraged by that. And again, that's the Portland way. And I'm hopeful that once we have an estimate, that public-spirited businesses, concerned people, and Occupy Portland folks are going to step up. We'll get some private funds and defray the costs of the repair work.
Commissioner Fish, a lot of people talk about the costs, the police overtime costs, the damage to the parks. What would you say to maybe some people who are critical on how the city leaders have handled this movement?
What I would say to you is that imagine the alternative. Imagine if we had the kind of violent confrontations that other cities have had, mass arrests and other kinds of things. The cost of the taxpayers of going down that path would have dwarfed the cost that we've incurred in trying to strike this balance. Portland's different. We celebrate the right of people to express themselves. This is a global movement, and the issues they're raising are very important. We've tried to strike a balance. I'm sure people are both critical and supportive of what we've done, but I give the mayor a lot of credit because we've tried to do it differently. The time has come, though, for this phase of Occupy Portland to end and for the parks to be restored to everybody's use. But I hope the movement continues in some other fashion.
Can you give us some insight into how yourself and other city leaders are watching this all play out tonight. Kind of what?
Well, I'm here both to support my team, because we got a lot of people from Portland Parks and Rec, our rangers. We've also got a lot of outreach workers from Join and Cascadia and Janus that have been helping people all day, in fact all week, transition from here to another place. We're very concerned about the homeless population that was here. I hope and pray that there is no violence tonight. And we have a lot of police officers who are out here, and their job is to enforce the law. And we have a lot of people who are protesting of goodwill. And I'm hoping that we can meet the goal of clearing the park without any violence, and we can do honor to this movement, which began with people saying it is about nonviolent protest.
Commissioner Nick, thank you so much for your time tonight.
My pleasure.